This is another episode of me documenting the day-to-day process that I'm taking to achieve long-term consistency in the financial market. And after today, it is very clear to me that my process is melting down entirely because of the way that I traded on Thursday that actually passed the eval, okay? So first, to understand this problem, let's go ahead and look back at what happened Thursday and the behavior that I did differently that I'm now repeating, okay? So Thursday, first of all, it's an outlier in the data, right? You got two trades, one trade, two trade, two trade, two trade, two trade, one trade, four. But that's the day that I passed the eval. So what happened? Well, it took two losing trades. This was a trade where I leveraged into, or I added on to the original position that I had because I was so confident in the idea of the market going lower, which is something that I've never done before. And that led to a large loss. And then I followed that up with another large loss. Now, typically, I have a rule that states 2 losses, done. That's it. But I was so confident in the sell, I was absolutely certain that this thing was going to break lower, that I stuck around and I took a third trade, and I deliberately violated that rule because I knew the sell was coming. Eventually, I had just mistimed it in the first 2 shorts that I took because it made absolutely no sense for the market to go higher. So when I finally did catch the sell, it worked, and it paid big time. Now, what is this doing, okay? Let's put this into perspective. This is a case study, okay? Learn from my mistakes so you don't do the same shit and you don't dig yourself into a deep hole that now you have to take a step back and correct all the behavior that you're doing because it's literally changed entirely, okay? I'm just going to pull up the lesson from today. Let's check it out. Let's go to view my day. Let's go to the 21st. Let's go to the lessons. Reflection. We have a process meltdown that is occurring, so caution. Be careful, right? Alright, let's see. Where is it? Where is it? I think I wrote it somewhere down here. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't, but this is what's going on in my mind. Okay? All it takes is that you violate your rules one time. One time. And you guys know how I trade. Prior to this, I am so disciplined, so consistent with following my rules and sticking to my system. Now I step out of line once, and I get paid big time because of that. What happens? The way that I trade, the way that I think, has completely flipped 180. And now I'm so money focused that it's influencing and consuming every single decision that I make. Because Thursday I came within striking distance of passing the eval, passed it, but the way that I passed it, I broke my rules. So because I broke my rules and it paid me big time, only once, bro. All it takes is one time that you step outside of your system, you violate your rules, and you get paid from it, and you get rewarded for doing that. The way that you think, the way that you behave is going to change. Now you have trained yourself. If I break my rules, I get paid. But that's not always the case. Look at the following trading session, okay? Put this into perspective. I had a day where I passed the eval, right? What is the following day? The following day is literally my largest losing day. That is 3 times the second largest losing day. I mean, if we look at the net daily P&L, this was the day that I broke my rules, violated my rules, passed the eval. The following day, boom. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? It's literally 3 times the closest red day to that. And now today, it is completely consumed and absorbed my behavior, my thought processes that now I'm not making any money at all because I had a really good trade today, but it came back on me because I was not willing to take anything off. Now, the way that I traded on Thursday as well, another part of my system that I broke is that I refused to take any partials. I took no partials because my take profit was set on the dollar amount that would make me pass the eval. So I violated my rule, but I was willing to because of the amount of confidence I had in the sell. And I am so confident in the sell that I didn't partial. I know what it's reaching for, right? In the moment, I'm patting myself on the back for literally violating my rules and breaking my system right here. Look, I've literally put it under the good. I'm not scared to put risk on for a third time and violate my rule, and I'm so confident in the sell that I don't take any partials. Well, now that I've trained myself to be extremely confident in what the market's going to deliver, demand that it delivers exactly what I'm looking for, and don't take partials. And then that bit me in the ass today because I demanded that the market give me exactly what I'm looking for, didn't take partials, violated my system, and what happened? Trades come back on me, and I let a $300 win, which would have cut the drawdown that I dug myself into in half. I let it come back on me, take me out for break even, and I get nothing from the day. I walk away with nothing. One session, guys, it's all it takes. This is why it is extremely important for us to know the rules of our system and abide by them religiously, because all it takes is you stepping outside of them one time getting paid because of it, now you've trained yourself to think, oh, it's okay if I break my rules. And now the way that I think and now the way that I'm behaving is solely focused on money, 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 especially now that I'm on the express funded account, right? Now every decision that I'm making is solely focused on money. Now, even on Friday, I also have to note this. We've had a spike in volatility, right, with what happened on Friday, last Friday. Go out to the daily. Was this 2 Fridays ago? 2 Fridays ago, the market literally dropped 1,000 handles in one session. The following week, extremely, extremely volatile. Look at these ranges. This is a 700 handle range. This is a 600 handle range. I mean, the volatility was just absurd, right? And I was getting paid in that volatility. The first trade that I took in that abnormal volatility, I got fucking paid. Now I've conditioned myself to not respect the risk of this volatile condition, keep the same position size, and just really, really, really look for a nice trade that's going to pay me a lot because the volatility has increased by tenfold. And it's so easy to catch a really, really big winning trade. Like, for example, $1,000 trade here, $1,000 trade here, and then my largest winning trade before that was only $700. But with this volatility, now I've conditioned myself to look for these big ranges and look for these big swings, and that's what I was looking for today. And it's trained me to not be content with the dollar with the dollar amount on the trade, because you pull up the recording from today. If we go to today's session, and if we look at where my take profit was for this trade, I'm only making, and I'm even saying it right now, I'm only making $491 on this trade. I'm not content with the dollar amount of this trade because the volatility of today was not the same that it was last week. And so it's kind of slowed down a bit. So I'm not getting those $1,000 swings that I was last week. And so because of that, I'm not content with $491 or even the profit targets that I had before that, which would put me at under $491. I want more, and I want more because of the $1,000 trade that I took last week. So, I'm learning a lot about myself psychologically and how I behave in volatile conditions, and how I also behave after I violate a rule, and that works. And I'm just sharing this with you guys and just being real and completely honest and transparent about everything that I'm going through in my journey right now. I mean, you can see the mental shift, right? I've passed the eval, I'm onto the express funded account, and now there's a new mountain for me to climb, and I'm aware of that. But you notice how fast I'm able to pick up on it. It's only been 2 trading days, and I'm already well aware that my behavior has completely and entirely changed to one where I'm literally focused on money, and it's completely hijacking my process. The way that I traded last week, the way I caught those big swings, those $1,000 trades, now I'm not content with a $400 trade. I want more. And I'm not content with a $300 trade. I want more because I've caught 1,000 point swing or $1,000 trades last week. And because I violated my rules, now I think it's okay for me to just demand that the market give me exactly what I'm looking for. Hold for that. Don't partial. Don't do anything. Just hold for the level that you think it's going to reach for, because it's going to go there. Absolutely, 100%. And it's always going to do that, right? Absolutely fucking not. And then I paid the price today, right? But after today, the only way I can be aware of these mistakes is because of the way that I traded today, right? So you have to fuck up in order to take a step back and think, just look at your performance and think, okay, something is definitely going on here, because I should have made something today. I should have made at least something, but I walked away with nothing. Why is that? The process is changing, right? So that was a pretty long monologue, but I promise this won't be a long review. Let's get into it. Down $23.96, Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. How am I feeling? Confident in the market wanting to rebalance this range. So I'm looking for my negative DGO setup, my bearish discount gap opening playbook. So higher time frame narrative. We have a manual repricing towards the all-time high. Why am I saying it's manual repricing? Because if you look back within the price range, it was on a fucking Monday with no news driver, and they just sent it right at 9:30. They just sent that shit right at 9:30. Typically, when we have that, you get some bullshit condition that just goes right at 9:30, doesn't really give you anything to execute on, and it just leaves, and it just goes, and it's just a slow grind up. So I call this a manual repricing because it's nothing really algorithmic. There's no rhyme or reason for why the market is just slowly drifting up like this. It doesn't really provide any opportunity for me to get on side with the way that I trade and the way that I see the market. It just goes, right? So I'm looking at this manual repricing. I'm noting, okay, we're probably going to draw for the all-time high now that they've repriced the market up here. But I'm looking back inside of yesterday's price action, and I'm noting that on a 1 minute time frame, what do we have? Very low resistance sell side liquidity, right? If we look back inside of the previous day range, this is the 9:30 open from yesterday. Look back inside the range. Where in this price leg do you think the market could grab onto and climb higher? Well, I do note that we have this gap right here. But aside from that, this is extremely smooth. Very, very clean lows. And I'm pretty sure that got cleared in the overnight session, which it did. And then aside from that, if we look back in this price leg on a 1 minute chart, so sometimes you can go back in the price swings on a 1 minute chart and think, okay, is this fucking real? Is this move even real? Like, is the market actually going to go higher from here? And you can tell if it's not, if it's just an extremely high resistance move, where if you look at the previous candles range, they overlap each other. You have a lot of overlap, and it's just a slow, high resistance push up. So it's fake. It's fucking fake. There's nothing for the market to grab onto in here. It's just low resistance sell side. So I'm thinking the only thing that the market might want to reach down into in this entire price swing from yesterday's range is this. It's the only thing you see. It's the only thing that's obvious. It's the only thing that sticks out to you, right? So I'm aiming for that in my shorts today. Look at the plan. I'm watching price to break down over the pre-market low, clear that with a solid down candle at 9:30 to confirm this is going lower at 9:30. So my daily objective is first, London sell side, the low-hanging fruit that I did not take off of because I was wanting more. Used to those $1,000 swings from yesterday and just demanding that the market give me exactly what I'm looking for. But this is counter trend. I want a full TP at yesterday's first presented for value gap. So I realize that I'm trading counter trend, right? Because yesterday, if we look at the daily chart, large up close candle. The draw is probably all-time high. We're probably going to reach for a new all-time high. So I'm not really going to look for the market to overlap that entire candle from yesterday's range. I'm not looking for the market to overlap this entirely, right? I'm just going to look for, a little piece of the move, a little downside move that the market makes at 9:30 to seek to rebalance that range and offer that obvious gap that was left behind, because nothing else, looking inside of yesterday's range, makes sense for the market to want to trade down there and then climb higher. I mean, think about it. Do you see an obvious gap in here that the market's going to grab onto and climb higher? Is it going to do this and then just go? Or does it make more sense for the market to drop down, want to rebalance this, rebalance to the open obvious inefficiency, clear those lows, and then do something like this, right? If we're going higher. So I'm looking for the market to rebalance that going into the open. So we were setting up with smooth sell. We were setting up off of smooth sell side, and this is just a characteristic that I've noticed repeats over and over and over and over again, which is good for my 930 sells. You guys know I like to take those 930 sells, and you can see that we're still reaching for that obvious gap there from yesterday. We just didn't deliver that, and the price swing at 930 came back up, stopped out all the shorts from 930. Then we have the rollover. But if you look at where we opened at 930, and if you look at the sell side created pre-market, you notice how we're opening right off that sell side. This is this happens almost every time we have a move that happens, boom, like this right at 930. It just breaks lower right from the open because we have created this sell side and we're opening slightly off of that. But there does have to be a premium array for the market to reject and send it lower, which in this case for me was the 4-hour order block. We had a change in the state of delivery. We took previous daily high. I see buy side accumulation, or the accumulation of sells. Notice how many times the market drove above a previous high and failed. Did it here, right? And then we did it again, and then a break lower. Change in the state of delivery. Down candle violates the open price of the last up close candle. So at the open, I'm looking for the market to trade up, reject it, trade down. Now, if I'm being conservative, if I'm being content, and if I'm just being satisfied with my little piece of the move, just my little piece of the pie, and not demanding that the market give me exactly what I'm looking for in the exact fashion I anticipate it to deliver, which it does do sometimes, but not all the time. It's not 100%. It's never 100%. This is the game of trading. I could literally just take off at the obvious 4-hour gap and make $300 and literally cut the drawdown in half and just be done in under an hour of trading. Because I react to this instantly. I know what I'm looking for. You guys saw my plan. I don't think I need to read any more of it. But if we go to 930, you see, play this back, play this back, play this back. I mean, I'm not even hesitating, okay? So I'll explain to you what put me into the trade. This is 930, okay? So I'm looking at, if the market's going to break lower at 930, then it needs to respect something on the left side of the curve that we've already created, a premium array that we've already created. The one that I know that stands out to me is this 5-minute suspension block right here. So I'm going to see if the market respects that and then drops lower. Now I get confirmation that it is respecting it. If we watch the recording, I'll explain what I saw, okay? So this is the 930 candle, right? So at the open, I'm like, okay, initially it's painting as an up close candle. if it closes outside of the 5-minute suspension block, obviously it's not using that as premium array and it's likely to violate it and we're probably going to trade higher. I could be incorrect. So I need to wait for this candle to close, and I was good being patient, waiting for that candle to close to confirm the idea. And if you note, at the last second, we suddenly dropped down out of the suspension block. Last second, on this 1 minute range, on the 930 range, the market confirms that it's leaving that suspension block. And I see that right here. So it was a bold-faced up-close candle, right? And then it begins to flip. It starts to drop the other way. But it comes back inside the range. So I'm thinking, okay, I want to see it really, really just close outside of this and confirm I'm leaving. I don't want to see it hang around this. I want to see it leave it like this. Boom, boom, boom. Get out of it and get gone. Confirm the change in the state delivery. And then I'm going to sell that up candle. So wait. And then look how it suddenly closes lower like that. Boom. In the last 3 seconds of that 1 minute range, closes suddenly outside of the suspension block. I know that's a sell. I'm sized down because I'm $600 in drawdown, so I'm only trading 2 contracts. We already rejected the change in state delivery, so I'm just getting in right there. Stop loss goes at the high of the order block, and there's your trade. There's literally a 9R trade if I just get out at the low-hanging fruit objective. But because of the way I've been trading recently, because of the way I've been violating my rules, and because of how the conditions that were extremely volatile last week have conditioned myself to just look for $1,000 trades, I'm not satisfied. Oh, and I'm in $600 of drawdown, so now I'm trading with the thought of, oh, I need to get out of this drawdown. I need to get out of this drawdown in one single trade, which is literally a mistake that I've made in the past. In the past, when I've been in drawdown, I've tried to erase that in one move. And because I try to erase it one move, I ironically end up adding on to it because that influences me to do things like not taking partials and not getting out where I know I need to get out because I'm focused on money and I'm trying to erase that drawdown. Therefore, my take profit is somewhere that's a dollar amount and not this is where I know my trade could potentially reverse, and this is the objective that I'm aiming for, low-hanging fruit. I'm just going to get this and get out and be done and be content. Now I'm thinking, where can I get out that's going to erase all the drawdown? So I'm thinking in terms of dollar amount, so that hijacks my process. So I'm not getting out where I know I need to get out. And it's ironic because in me trying to erase the drawdown, I actually end up adding on to it. I mean, I added on $25 today, but I still added on to it, right? When I could have literally cut it in half, $300 been in and out of the market in half an hour, and that's it. So the way that I held this trade was literally the exact same thing that I did on Thursday as well. Didn't take any partials, refused to take a partial, and just demanded that the market give me exactly what I'm looking for. So what happens as a result? I'm not content. I'm just sitting in this trade. And I really did not give a fuck what it was going to do because the risk on the trade was $47. And in last week's condition, I was used to risking $200 a trade, trading 3 contracts, risking like 30, 40 handles a trade. I just did not give a shit. I just simply did not give a shit. And I was not willing to partial. I was demanding the market give me exactly what I'm looking for. And I just let it come back on me. Now, at this point in time, where I actually took off, I knew it was dead, so I knew there was no point in realizing the full loss in the position. Just flattened the position, just got out for a really small loss, okay? So that's the first trade. Now get this, the second trade. Something else that I also never do. Something else that is also another instance of me just not following my process, not following my system. I took another trade that was off the recording. I don't even have it on the recording because I was reviewing the session at the time, and I just jumped back into the market, so married to the idea of the market going lower. I thought we had cleared the 930 longs, or sells. Pull up the 1 minute chart again. I thought we had already cleared the 930 sells here. Now at this point in time, I'm thinking, okay, anybody who's short from 930, they just got fucked because I was, and I just got fucked. Now we've broken lower. Now we've broken lower again. And then I just sold this up candle for literally no other reason than I think we're going lower, and that's it. While I had already walked away from the day, while I had already ended the recording, and I was reflecting on the lessons that I learned. Here I just come back into the market and I just throw risk on again, because I think we're just going to go lower. This is an instance of my worst trade. Never. I don't give a shit what you think you can do. When you walk away, you are done. Do not come back ever. If you come back after walking away and you lose, I promise you it's the most frustrating losses ever. You're just going to be pissed with yourself. It's just pure pain. It's just so stupid. Like, you were done and you came back and then you lost money. What? And then even if you were done and you came back and you made money, now you've conditioned yourself to never be able to walk away from the market, because now you're always going to think, okay, I'm done. but you're still going to have the charts open, you're still going to stick around, and you're still going to talk yourself into another trade because you're not willing to walk away, because you've conditioned yourself to think, oh, I've done this in the past. When I didn't walk away from the market, I kept trading and I got paid because of it. So I'm telling you guys, it's so extremely important to be on edge at all times and just prevent yourself from doing the things that you know you cannot absolutely do, because if you do it once and you get paid, your system's going to fall apart. So that's what I'm going through right now. It's a new mountain for me to climb, and it requires a mentality shift. I just need to stick back to my process, just fall back in line with my process, and just stop giving a fuck about the money, because I know that I'm going to take a $5,000 payout from this XFA. Like, I know I got this in the bag. Like, you guys see the setups, the way that I frame the logic behind these trades. It's there, it repeats. It's the same things over and over again. I just have to repeat the system that I've created for myself. I've already done the upfront work. I really don't have to learn anything else, but I'm always just constantly learning, refining things, because I'm just pursuing perfection. I know I'll never get perfection, but I can get close and I can get really, really good, and that's the objective. But all I have to do is just show up and keep doing this, literally. And just abide to the rules that I've created for myself. Make sure that I don't violate them. And make sure that I don't violate them and get paid, because that's even worse. I mean, I'll tell you guys right now, it is worse to violate your rules and make money because of it than to violate your rules and lose. Because if you violate your rules... Did I just end the video? I just hit the space bar and that's a shortcut on OBS. No, I didn't. Okay, we're good. What I was saying, if you violate your rules and you lose, well, that's just a reminder as to why you don't violate that rule. But if you violate your rule and you get paid because of it, now you've just conditioned yourself to think, I can violate my rule. It worked last time. I don't give a fuck. I got paid last time. I violated my rule and I got paid. So the trade that I took on Thursday to pass the eval was... I patted myself on the back for it. And I thought I did so good. I thought it was a good trade. But now look what that has done to my process. Just absolutely fucking demolished it. And now I'm not trading the same. Now I have to do the work of just falling back in line with my system and just sticking to my process and my protocols and not violating anything. And then I can start to see my equity curve go up again. But for now, we're plateauing, right? With that big trade, basically gave it all back, plateau. So this is where I'm at. New mountains to climb, but you better fucking believe that I'll get over them, and I will become better as a result, because my only trajectory is upward. Now, I can have these. Let me put it this way. Okay, this is my life. This is my life right here. Let's see, can I get a paintbrush? Let's get a paintbrush going. Check this out. This is life. It's an uptrending market. You got pullbacks, you got dips, you got peaks, you got troughs, you got highs, you got lows. But guess what? You always going up, and you always learning. Think about the amount of fuck-ups, think about the amount of highs, the amount of successes, the amount of lessons learned from your failures. But you keep pushing, and you keep going, and you never stop. Because you're in love with the process, and you're in love with the journey, and you know where you're going, and you know who you want to become, and you work every day towards that. And it doesn't matter what hits you. It doesn't matter what hits you. It doesn't matter how low you go. You keep pushing. You keep pushing. You do not stop. Okay? I'll tell you guys right now, there's been at least 20 times that I've wanted to quit this shit. 20 times that I've fell to absolute lows. Low. And, you know, I've gone through so much bullshit. I used to think, man, it can't get any worse than this. It does. It does. 100%. You're just being shaped and molded into the person you need to become to attain this level of success. That's all it is. That's all it is. Iron sharpens iron, right? The trials and tribulations that you go through are by design, and they are for you, and they're uniquely for your journey, and they're exactly what you need in that exact moment. And if you believe that, you're able to take a step back and observe everything that you go through and ask yourself, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? What does God want me to learn from this? How can I grow from this? Where did I go right? Where did I go wrong? So the important thing is, I mean, you can go through a lot of shit, and it's the same thing with your trading, okay? You can fail a lot, But if you're not learning from your mistakes, you're not getting better. And that's why I do the process of reflecting every single day without fail, consistently. And this is why I'm able to consistently get better. I mean, there is a reason why you have some young men in their 20s, early 30s, whatever, who are so far ahead of life than other men who are in their 50s and 60s. It's simply because of the fact that they take a step back and they do some self-reflection and self-analysis and learn from what they're going through. Some of you guys don't even journal your trades. What the fuck? Why are you even trading? Seriously. It doesn't make any sense. You're going to tell me that you're going to go into the market, lose money, and not know what you did wrong, and then do it again the following day? Like, what? Dude, what? What kind of sense does that make? Seriously. Ever since I started trading, I've been journaling religiously every single day, every single session, every single trade. That is something that I have never failed to do. And I think that's what separates me from the rest. It's just the work that others are not willing to do. That's it. It's not that I'm special. It's not that I'm unique in any way. It's not that I'm some crazy superhuman freak. No, bro. I just do what you're not willing to do. That's it. That's it. So, that's it for this one. Talk to you guys tomorrow.